Good evening, everyone. So, firstly, I wish you a very happy new year. And it's a good day today. The CAT scorecard is out along with the XAT 2022 response sheet. Firstly, hearty congratulations to all of you who have made it, this year. And secondly, in case you have not made it this year, there's always more exams to try for another CAT attempt. Personally, I took a second CAT attempt to make it to FMS. So, no worries at all. Just have the confidence that you'll crack it and you will crack it. So today we are here to discuss the verbal ability section of XAT 2022. Unfortunately, I was not able to take the exam yesterday, office problems, but yeah. We'll have a look at the paper. This will be sort of an unofficial answer key. I will try to answer all questions with 100% accuracy as much as possible. But as you guys know, that it's a ridiculously difficult paper to crack. But let's give it a shot. Okay. The moment we no longer have a free press, anything can happen. What makes a dash for a totalitarian or any other dictatorship to rule is that dash are not informed. So not being informed should make it easy to rule. Okay, that's one inference. If I see unique, I'll remove absurd because to make it easy to rule, I need to have a positive word, not a negative word, right? What makes it necessary for a totalitarian or any other dictator rule is that citizens are not informed. What makes it possible that people are not informed? Unique and senators. No, this is from a people point of view. Okay, so because of this option is out. Okay, I'll play with my B and D. How can you have an opinion if you're not informed? If everybody always lies to you, the dash is not that you believe the lies, but rather that nobody believes anything any longer. The joy, the consequence, yeah. You're talking about an end result of a particular action. Usse joy kyun hoga? Especially when you're talking about totalitarian things. So, in my opinion, we should go with option D as the answer. Okay. So option D would be my pick for this question. Moving on to question number 2. Okay, I think this. Yeah. Which of the following sentences is grammatically correct? Okay, have you any clothes to dispose of? I saw a pleasant dream last night. I think I had a pleasant dream last night. You don't see, you have a dream. I think 2 is wrong. Okay, so I'll remove these 2 options. 1 5 6 3 4 5. एक बार 4 check करो. Students struggle to cope up with academic pressure. You need not give feedback to your employees. My friend is good at playing football. Okay, 5 and 6 तो चाहिए. So I'll remove option B. So 5 and 6 is fine. Have you any clothes to dispose of? Should be OFF. Students struggle to cope up with academic pressure. I think I will go with option C here because I feel option 1 should be off. Okay. So, elimination always helps, guys. Preposition. Incorrect usage. The manager was sitting at the desk. Yeah, I think it's fine. My work is superior to yours. Fine. I prefer coffee over tea. Hota hai, so I need option 3. Okay, sab nahi hai. Cool. She was accused for stealing gold. You are accused of something. I need 3 and 4. Eliminate, eliminate. Okay, no, 2 is fine. Eliminate. 3 for 5, 3 for 6. This is an exception to the rule. Yeah, there is exception. 2 things. They are leaving for England over. So 3, 4, and 6 is the right answer. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Geologists have been investigating a potential cycle in geological events for a long time. The cycle, okay. 20s and 30s scientists of the era had suggested that the geological record had a 30 million year cycle. While in the 1980s and 90s, researchers used the best dated geological events at the time to give them a range of the length between pulses, 26.2 to 30.6 million years. Now everything seems to be in order. 27.5 million years is right about where we'd expect. A late study last year suggested that this 27.5 million year mark is when mass extinctions happen too. Okay. Best concluded. Not all species go extinct. So they go mass extinctions and not all species. Okay. It doesn't make sense. Correlation. All species go extreme statement, eliminate. Pulse between geological events is constant. They do talk about pulses, but I think each geological event is a pulse. दो events के बीच में pulse नहीं बोल रहे हैं. They are saying that each event in itself is a pulse. Okay. This is not mentioned anywhere. Mass extinctions are correlated. It does not say can happen, so it's not really. Not really a space statement, it can be an absolute thing. I believe I would go with E here, just because of the reasoning that a geological event in itself is a pulse. Okay, so I would pick E for question 4. Oh my God, a poem. I smiled at you because I thought you were someone else. You smiled back, and there grew between two strangers in a library something that seems like love, but you loved me, if that's the word, because you thought that I was other than I was. And by, we found we'd been mistaken all the while from the first glance, that first mistaken smile. Cannot be inferred. We fall in love with strangers. Yeah, two strangers in a library. So option A will be eliminated. The idea of love is different for the parties involved. Absolutely. The lady thought, okay, I'm not even sure if it's a lady, but whoever is the second lover thought the first lover to be somebody else. Yeah. We make mistakes. Absolutely. Love with ourselves. ये तो कहीं बोला ही नहीं है passage में. Sorry, poem में. So that's why I will go with option D over here. Okay, option D will be my answer. Okay. When I ask people to name 3 recently implemented technologies that most impact our world today, they usually propose the computers, the internet, and laser. All 3 were unplanned, dash and dash upon their discovery and remained dash well after the initial use. Okay. So the last 2 blanks are the same. Unplanned, unpredicted, unappreciated upon discovery. Yeah, let's say the computer was unappreciated, right, when it came. And it remained underappreciated well after initial use. Shocking upon the discovery remained shocking. No, shock is a one-time thing. Fulfilling, unfulfilling doesn't make sense. It has to be the same word. Remained superb, superb doesn't make sense. I think since this has a negative, not negative, but randomly hua, unplanned cheezein hi unpredictable hoti hain, right? I mean, it was unplanned to begin with, and for the public it was unpredictable. So I'll go with A. Okay. What bullshit essentially misrepresents is neither the state of affairs to which it refers nor the beliefs of the speaker concerning that state of affairs. Those are what lies misrepresent by virtue of being false. Since bullshit need not be false, it differs from lies in its misrepresentational intent. The bullshitter may not deceive us or even intend to do so, either about the facts or about what he takes the facts to be. What he does necessarily attempt to deceive us about is his enterprise. His only is indispensably distinctive characteristic is that in a certain way he misrepresents what he's up to. Okay. The crux of the distinction between him and the liar. Both he and the liar present themselves falsely as endeavoring to communicate the truth. The success of each depends upon deceiving us about that. The fact about himself that the liar hides is that he is attempting to lead us away from a correct apprehension of reality. We are not to know what he wants us to believe. Something he supposes to be false. Sorry. The fact about himself that the bullshitter hides, on the other hand, is that the truth values of the statement are of no central interest to him. What we are not to understand is that his intention is neither to report the truth nor to conceal it. This does not mean that his speech is anarchically impulsive, but that the motive guiding and controlling it is unconcerned with how the things about which he truly speaks are. It is impossible for someone to lie unless he thinks he knows the truth. Producing bullshit requires no such conviction. A person who lies is thereby responding to the truth, and he is to that extent respectful of it. When an honest man speaks, he says only what he believes to be true, and for the liar, it is correspondingly indispensable that he considers his statements to be false. God. Best inferred. Okay. Both the liar and the bullshitter live in the world. देखो, own realities की बात नहीं हुई है. Okay. Eliminate. Are not bounded by any conviction. अभी लिखा है ना? No such conviction for the bullshitter, but there is conviction for the liar. Okay. Eliminate, eliminate. Misrepresent the truth. We just noticed, right, that the bullshit has nothing to do with the truth, right? Then are guided by the truth. Again, truth has nothing to do with the bullshitter. Intend to deceive in their own ways. I think I understand why a lot of people might not have marked E. They must have read this. The bullshitter may not deceive us or even intend to do so. My friend, they have a different misrepresentational intent. That is deception. This deception is about, talking about facts or what he takes the facts to be. That's a minor part of intent to deceive, which he is not intending to do. That's why option E is absolutely fine in this case. That would be my opinion and answer. Okay. Yeah. Why does the author say bullshit is neither to report the truth nor to conceal it? Convince. See, first thing, he does not know the truth. Okay. Respectful to the truth, that is only the liar. Okay. Convinced about the truth, he has nothing to do with the truth. Okay, because he doesn't require any conviction. Bullshitters love to deceive, misrepresentational intent. Do not find the truth useful. That is why he doesn't care about it, right? So option D is absolutely fine for this. Okay. When will a liar best turn into a bullshitter? When a liar starts responding to the truth. See, bullshit is, again, not about the truth, right? Outcome and not telling lies. Telling lies, again, relates to the truth. So I think I would eliminate these two. Misrepresenting the state of affairs, it relates to the first line of the passage, but that's again very narrow. Correct comprehension of reality. This makes a little bit of sense. You know why? Here. He tries to misrepresent about the enterprise, right? The bullshitter. Okay. And the liar hides is that he's attempting to lead us away from a correct apprehension of reality. Okay. But the bullshitter has no concern about the reality, right? So when you don't worry about comprehending reality and then steering away from it, you're stop being a liar. So I think I would go with option D here. Okay. Laboring is simply what we do to survive. We labor to eat, to keep our bodies healthy, to keep roof over our heads, and to keep keep life reproducing. All animals labor with or without coaxing. There's nothing special about labor, save for the fact that without it, we would die. Work, on the other hand, gives collective meaning to what we do. When we work to produce something, we both put something into and leave something lasting in the world, a table, a house, a book, a car, a rug. Okay, fine. Conclusion, doing what is asked of a role is labor, beyond role is work. See, work should give me collective meaning. Okay, labor is survival, लिखा है first में, work collective meaning, इन दोनों को मेरे को relate करके एक conclusion चाहिए. A मेरे को नहीं दे रहा. Unacknowledged, there's nothing to do with acknowledgement in this whole passage. Out. Labor enables us to survive, while work makes survival meaningful. Makes sense. Survive, collective meaning. I have both these things. I'll keep option C. Terrace gardening is labor. I don't want examples. I want the whole gyan. To be healthy needs labor. Making others healthy. What nonsense. How will a car make someone healthy? All you know, car might kill someone. Okay. Just kidding, of course. So I think option C is absolutely fine. Okay. Okay. What Aunt does for us is to remind us that our publicness is as important to our flourishing as our sociability and our privacy. She draws a distinction between what it means to act socially and what it means to act politically. The social intent for Aunt is both the context where all our basic survival needs are permitted to appear in public, and also the realm of behavior. One of the things she fears about modern societies is that society focused on how we behave and what we will permit for ourselves, and others become the realm of conformism. This is worrying not just because we don't really get vibrant societal conformism and sameness, but also Aunt says because there is a risk that we think this is all there is to our living. We lose ourselves in the task of managing behavior and forget that our true public task is to act and to distinguish ourselves in doing so. The risk, Aunt says, is therefore that we confuse behavior with action, that in modern liberal societies, behavior replaces action as the foremost mode of human relationship. This confusion can happen in any area of modern lives and institutions, secular or faith-based. None is immune. I also drive home the point that the healthy public life requires that we do not just see ourselves as social actors, but also as fully public persons committed to judging and acting as members of a common world we want to inhabit and pass on. Aunt tells us that public action is action in which we stand out, are individuated, become in some way excellent in a manner that is of service to others and greatest good. This is a space where we take risks, subject our common life to scrutiny, to seek justice, that sometimes requires to transgress what seems like accepted laws in order to increasingly open the claims and needs of other humans, not our household and kin. Got it. Best categorized as a public person: online fraud victim, fraudsters, local politician, RTI, organized protests, NGO, wildlife photographer. Okay. I needed to stand out, individuate, service, greater good. Online fraudsters is not really greater good because you are a victim, right? You are not standing out. Okay. Politician, RTI. I think I would go with E here because a wildlife photographer is standing out, okay, seeking justice for people who are not his kin, migrants, and he's individuating himself in an excellent manner of service to others, जो और कोई नहीं कर रहा है. Basically, आप जो काम कर रहे हो, उसमें next level चले जाओ. You can be tempted to mark NGO employee and tribal land acquisition, but come on, he's an NGO employee. He's supposed to do that. Okay. So that's why I think E makes the most sense over here, and I will go with E. Based on the passage, which of the following options best describes public action? Action for a just cause, regardless of what society thinks. What is, okay. Yeah, likha hai na? Requires to transgress from accepted laws. So this is out, this is out. Mindful of what society thinks, out. Between A and D. Conviction or just cause. I need greater good. I need people not in my household. That is a just cause rather than my conviction. So option A will be my answer. Okay, this was, I think, a sitter question that they gave us. Best reason for focusing on behavior instead of acting in public, which is opposite of what para 1 is saying. Our focus is to survive and not flourish. ये survival वाली बात हुई नहीं है, out. Our fear of being called out on an imperfect thoughts. I'm sorry, guys. I just got over the flu and my throat is a little out. See, imperfect thoughts. To survive is not to distinguish ourselves from others. That makes sense. This looks good, yeah. Like, see, behavior is conformism. Conformism is conforming to society norms. Why are you conforming to society norms? Because you depend on others and you want them to like you. So because you're dependent on others and you want them to like you, you conform to the norms made by the society. That's why it is the best reason for focusing on behavior instead of acting out in public. And I will go with option D. Sorted. Yeah, logical sequence. But will not be my starting statement. As a result, it's a conclusion, won't be my starting statement, and is a continuation, won't be my starting statement. This is less consistent. Okay. Okay, I think I need to rework this. I think I did not find a starting statement, and these guys seem to be, taking something from the middle of a paragraph. But when it comes to companies that lack computer programmers, the government is far more sympathetic. As a result, and this behavior is less inconsistent than it may seem. See, either 1 or 3 starts, and demand for latter has soared among British startups. So latter, so no. As a result, wait, 1-4. An NGO takes between 6 and 10 weeks to train a competent coder several years. And demand for the latter. Got it. The only latter and prior over here is in 5. So 5 precedes 3 in both these places. Okay. But 4 should come before 5. Got it. So D will be my answer. This was, I think, pretty simple. Yeah. 2, 3, 2, 5, 5. Let's see 2. As the new school year gets underway in many countries, the harm caused by months of closure is becoming ever clearer. Yeah, starting statement, perfect. The crisis will accelerate the trend. The harm is becoming clearer. The harm is mentioned in option 1, and the only option with statement 1 and the only option with 2-1 is option A. That is my answer. You don't even need to spend time on this thing. Easy. Okay. Which of the following grammatically incorrect? If Sandhya had started from the hotel on time, she would not have missed the flight. Okay. It looks fine. The students wouldn't have completed their assignment. Would have been there. This sounds wrong to me. I had traveled across Europe if I weren't afraid of airplane crash. I had traveled. This 3 is absolutely wrong. So D&E is eliminated. 1 is fine. So between A and B, I just check 5. Should you wish to join the party, you must let me know by this evening. Should you wish to join the party? I think that's fine. That's fine. So 2, 3, 4 is the only option that is left to be wrong. Okay, so 16, option B should be the right answer. Okay. One theory of accidents is what experts call the Swiss cheese model. A slab of Swiss cheese has several holes randomly unevenly distributed over its surface. If several slabs are stacked together, it would be impossible for something to slip through unless all the holes happen to line up. If even one slab doesn't align, the impending catastrophe will meet a layer of resistance and the worst is averted. Aviation professionals will tell you that the plane crashes never happen for a single reason. There may be an identifiable primary factor, but it's usually a chain of events and array of circumstances neatly piling up. Conclusion. Averting catastrophe is actually easier than it seems. Then disaster is a culmination of many events happening in a particular order. There is no order. There is no order. Okay. Accidents cannot be averted. Okay. Okay. Impending catastrophe made a layer of resistance. A catastrophe can be averted if a preceding array of events meets resistance, which is the cheese theory. So I will go with E over here. E is my answer. Yeah. What does a good life look to you? For some, the phrase may conjure images of a close-knit family, a steady job, and a Victorian house at the end of a street arched with oak trees. Others may focus on the goal of making a difference in the world, working, okay, pouring energy, okay. Aristotelian theory, the first kind is hedonic, one based on pleasure, comfort, stability, strong relationships. What's this? Daimonic, okay. Primarily concerned with the sense of purpose, fulfillment, one's greater contributing to the greater good. The ancient Greek philosopher outlined these ideas in his treatise Nicomachean Ethics. The psychological sciences have pretty much stuck them ever since when discussing the possibilities of what people might want out of their time on Earth. But a new paper published in the American Psychological Association Psychological Review suggests there's another way to live a good life. It doesn't focus on happiness or purpose, but rather it's a life that's psychologically rich. What is a psychologically rich life? According to author Shigi Oishi, a professor of psychology, University of Virginia, and Erin Westgate, an assistant professor of psychology in Florida, interesting experiences in which novelty and or complexity are accompanied by profound changes in perspective. Studying abroad, for example, is one way that college students often introduce psychological richness into their lives. As they learn more about a country's customs and history, they're often prompted to reconsider the social mores of their own cultures. Deciding to embark on a difficult new career path or immersing oneself in avant-garde art, okay, also could make a person feel as if their life is more psychologically rich. Crucially, an experience doesn't have to be fun in order to qualify as psychologically enriching. It might even be a hardship through war, natural disasters, okay, or you might encounter less dramatic but nonetheless painful events, infertility, chronic illness, unemployment, suffering, but it still adds value. Contrast between hedonic and eudaimonic. Seeking pleasure, depriving of pleasure is wrong, okay? Because if you're helping people and getting happy, you're not depriving yourself of pleasure. Pleasure to self, pleasure to others is also wrong because you are also deriving pleasure out of helping people. Fulfillment leads to pleasure. D makes sense. Self pleasure, khud ki family, benefits of society. I think D is absolutely fine. Psychologically rich life. Any novel experience that affects us cognitively makes us psychologically rich. Okay. So experience. Learning opportunities, novel experience, good life. Even bad parts needs to be considered. C is out. A life that offers interesting experience. What is life is not the right thing. Because if you see the culture wala thing, what is life doesn't make sense. Life and all experiences result a fundamental change in views, how you view the world. I think that makes sense. I'll go with E here. Good. A good life should not be seen in finite terms. Unpleasant experience can enable a good life. Psychologically rich life is a good life. Life need not be good, but can be psychologically rich. Yeah, very, very simple. I don't even need to think much over here. This paragraph clearly points out to this, and E will be my answer. Bad experience can also make you psychologically rich. As simple as that. Yeah. It hurts to walk on your legs. The curse of consonants, the wobble of vowels, and you for whom I gave up a kingdom can never love that thing I was. When you look into my past, you see only weeds and scales. Once I had a voice, now I have legs. Sometimes I wonder, was it a fair trade? The theme of the poem. Loss of identity. As future unfolds, distant past some pleasant, nostalgic recollection undermine materials are concerned for loss. Quest for love is accompanied with pain. Makes a lot of sense because in the second para, okay, you gave up a kingdom for love. And was that a fair trade is the question you're asking in the last line. So E would be my answer for question 21. Once I had a voice, now I have legs. I think this should also be about love pursuit or something. Actions speak louder, less value in the new world. Lost speech doesn't make sense. Contemplative of his or her identity. Very interesting. Indecisive. I think it's about identity because he's showing the change since post-war of love. So I think I will go with option E here again. Summarizes. Oh, sorry. This is. Yeah. Stupidity is a very specific cognitive failing. Crudely put, it occurs when you don't have the right conceptual tools for the job. The result is the inability to make sense of what is happening and resulting tendency to force phenomena into crude, distorted pigeonholes. This is easiest to introduce a tragic case. British High Command during the First World War frequently understood trench warfare using concept strategies from the cavalry battles of the youth. As one of the Field Marshal Douglas Haig's subordinate later remarked, they thought of the trenches as mobile operations at the halt. That is, as fluid battle lines with the simple caveat that nothing have budged for years. Unsurprisingly, this does not serve them well in formulating a strategy. They were hampered beyond the shortage of material resources by kind of conceptual obsolescence, a failure to update the cognitive tools to fit the task in hand. In at least some cases, intelligent activity abets stupidity by allowing pernicious rationalization. Stupidity will often arise in cases like this. When an outdated conceptual framework is posed in service, mangling the user's grip on some new phenomenon, it is important to distinguish this from mere error. We make mistakes for all kinds of reasons. Stupidity is rather one specific and stubborn case of error. Historically, philosophers have worried a great deal about the rationality of not taking the available means to achieve goals. Tomorrow, Tom wants to get fit, yet his running shoes are getting quietly gathering dust. The stock solution to Tom's quandary is simple. Willpower. Stupidity is very different from this. It is rather lack of the necessary means, a lack of the necessary intellectual equipment. Combating it will typically require not brute willpower, but the construction of a new way of seeing ourselves and our world. It's perfectly compatible with intelligence. Haig was, by any standard, a smart man. Got it. Stupidity. Pushing our extents. No, the novelty of the problem in relation, the innovative force, comprehending a problem, applying. Okay, so stupidity is about outdated concepts and present problems. E is the best one. Between C and E, why am I going with E? The inability to avoid forcing our current views. It doesn't make sense, right? Like forcing current views on a new situation. It is about comprehending a problem with previous framework, which has been repeated at least twice. Okay, so that is why I'll go with option E here. Okay. Why stupidity for a smart person is perfectly compatible with intelligence. Intelligence perceived with past successes makes rationalization of a new phenomenon. Perfect. I think option A is absolutely right, because if you see the case of the general, based on cavalry battles, he was trying to fight trench warfare. So intelligence, when perceived through past successes of cavalry battles, made it rational for him to fight trench warfare in the same way. Thereby, option A is correct. Okay, so I'll go with option A only. A new phenomenon creates fear, not mentioned. Scared, not mentioned. Explaining any new phenomenon, that is fine, but you are rationalizing something, a present situation based on the past success. That is a better answer. Poorly defined, not mentioned. So I'm not concerned with this. Avoid a leader, avoid stupidity. Being aware that we must handle future with a different cognitive tool. We're short of required resources. Be ready to discuss. Yeah, current answers in current context is the right thing. New previous answers in the previous context, current as the current context is absolutely fine. Okay. The overwhelming preponderance of people have not freely decided what to believe, but rather have been socially conditioned into their beliefs. They are unreflective thinkers. Inability to criticize one's beliefs. Yeah, fine. Since you have been forced to believe that, you are being indoctrinated. Believe that if you're normal and natural heightened their acceptance. Yeah, fine. Indoctrinity, conditioning. What they passionately oppose. Here you are not even being able to freely decide. How will you oppose anything? C is wrong. C is the right answer. Things that we do automatically need to be reflected upon. Yeah. I mean, that's what he is trying to say, that you should reflect on it. So I think, yeah, C makes sense. So I would go with option C here. So, this would be my attempt on D-Day, how I would have taken XAT 2022. Decently tough, but I think there were decent number of cues in the options to eliminate them. If somebody just found them and went through, it'll be fine. Cutoff, again, not sure. Like, XAT cutoff is very, very difficult to predict, but I think it should go a little lower than last year. It was tricky. I will not deny that. Okay? I think for someone taking a paper the first time, maybe even 10 to 12 answers is correct. 10 to 12 correct answers absolutely fine with maybe 1 or 2 errors. So let's see how things pan out. Don't worry about these things now. If you have possibility of getting some calls by CAT, please focus on GDPI. And we are, of course, there with our GDPI course on a strong team of IIM, FMS, XAT IIMs ready to take your interviews. Okay. So it's our job that you make it into your dream college and we will do it together. Thank you.